What's going on, Tin and J Man Show Nation? It's Monday night. It's March 17th, 2025. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you out there. I'm trying to pinch J Man through the screen because from what I can see, he's not wearing any green. I mean, I guess you could be
You don't know what's on my bottoms.
you could be wearing green underwear, but I don't want to know. If you are, good for you.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm Terry. He's Josh the J Man Month. J Man, how's it going, man?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, I wore a little green today. So
Didn't even realize it was St. Patrick's Day until you said something, to be honest.
yeah. I forgot about the yesterday. So
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, I better wear. I got a few green things. Of course, the company I work for, primary color's green. That helps.
That helps a lot. Yeah, that helps a lot.
I had a green zip up on today during the workday, but now I got a Seattle Sonics hat, Green Day shirt. So we're good to go. Not getting pinched by anybody.
I'd still pinch you.
You'd be ready for a fight. Pinches hurt, man. Pinches are such a deadly little thing if you think about it. Little effort, man.
Yeah, it always gets you in like a sensitive spot on like your skin too. And you dig the nails in. It's rough.
You'll appreciate this because of the name in your family and the name in my family. My great uncle Dale. I was very young, but I this is my fondest memory of him. He used to do what they call the Combs pinch. We're talking about pinching. He'd take his fingers. I still don't know how he did. He'd do it around your knee, around the knee area. Oh man, yeah. Combs pinch.
Oh yeah. If for those who are unfamiliar, Tanner and I are cousins. He just doesn't want to admit it. We have a family name of Combs that has flowed through our family. So long lost cousins.
Well, we have some resembling traits, you and I.
We're both stupid.
IQ department, so and we might be on something there.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, hit me with the birdie or bogey so I can get another bogey.
There are 4 teams in college basketball that have won 20 or more games in 6 straight seasons here recently. I'm gonna word that again because I screwed it up. I had it perfectly in my head earlier today. This is how I'm gonna say it. And then of course the show starts and I screw it up. There are 4 teams in college basketball that have won 20 or more games in each of the last 6 seasons. Can you name those 4 schools?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I can name like 4 of them.
Well, that's
not enough, but
4 is enough. That's all there are.
I thought you said 6.
No.
4 schools, 6 years.
4 schools, 6 years. Yeah, the 6 is
20
years.
Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 4 schools that have won 20 games in each of the last 6 seasons. So
I think I got a shot at this. Okay.
4 teams. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House for good food, casual atmosphere, located 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana. Go check out Arlington Public House for all their finest meals.
Yeah, let me see what they had going on over the weekend. I'm trying to post our episode here on my Facebook page. Okay. Let's see what Arlington had going on over the weekend. Come on. Oh boy. Okay, good. They had it written. It was like a video. I'm like, I cannot read that, but now it's underneath. They had, for all you fish lovers, of course, Lent's going on. They had a pan-seared 8-ounce halibut fillet based in rich, velvety lemon butter, cooked to golden perfection, served alongside creamy, buttery mashed potatoes and tender garlic-infused green beans. This dish is a perfect balance of elegance and comfort. Every bite melts in your mouth, bursting with fresh, vibrant flavors. Friday and Saturday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sounds pretty good.
You're a fish liker.
I am. And they had that was Thursday, they had all you can eat beer battered fish. Different kind of fish. Yeah. Yeah, I like a lot of kinds of fish. For as picky of an eater as I am, I like a lot of seafood.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Because I know you're not as picky as an eater as I am, but you don't like seafood.
I don't like seafood. No. Yeah. Never have acquired the taste for seafood.
Is it one of those things where you just don't like the thought of something swimming and then onto your plate or what?
It's the smell too.
Yeah. That's the point.
That kind of gets me. My dad likes seafood. My mom does not. So I think I just followed my mom's lead. I've tried like shrimp and stuff, and I just can't get into it.
Can't even do like a fried one, like a coconut shrimp.
I tried coconut shrimp, and it was okay. I'd never order it at a restaurant or anything like
Fair,
that. But
fair. I don't like coconut stuff, but I like coconut shrimp. I
yeah,
don't know. I'm very strange.
the only coconut I like is the Samoa's cookies, Girl Scout cookies.
Those are awesome. I do
Yeah,
like those. Yeah,
yeah.
those are good. Those are good. Don't they have another name?
It used to be caramel delights, but now they're Samoa's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not too many kinds of Girl Scout cookies I don't like.
I don't think there's a single one I don't like,
I
and I
don't
got.
care for the shortbread ones that much.
I mean, they're just kind of bland.
Yeah.
I think they're. I mean, they're edible to
But
me
man,
anyway.
the Thin Mints, the peanut butter ones.
I got swindled by some Girl Scouts the other day at Lowe's. I walked in to get windshield wiper fluid, and I walk out, and they accosted me and said, "Oh, I don't have any cash. I don't have any cash." Like, "Oh, we take card." Couldn't
Yeah.
get out of that one.
Yeah,
So,
nope. 5 years ago, probably, but
yeah.
now, yeah.
12,
Yeah.
12 bucks later, I walked out of there with some Girl Scout cookies, and my wife was like, "What in the world? We're on a diet." I got nervous.
Yep. Nope. I would have caved. I would have caved too. Another reason we're probably distant cousins, right
Yep,
there.
yep.
Peer pressure. But well, well, I guess before we get into our brackets and we got NFL free agency, you want to hit our weekly segments first?
Let's do it. I can get you educated here real quick before you
Oh,
get
I
any
need it.
further.
Man, I need it.
Let's see. In the 1800s, there were a couple. Well, one cricket one, but sounds like a foreign language.
We really need to study up one of these
I
days.
know, I know. On this day in 1953, Bill Veeck says he will sell 80% of St. Louis Browns for $2.475 million.
That's a lot of coin back then.
That was. On this day in it's not a great week, honestly. Thought we'd have more NCAA tourney.
I did too.
I'm in the 80s and it's rugby and ski jumping. On this day in 1988, it was the then highest scoring basketball game to date in the NCAA. Loyola Marymount beat Wyoming 119 to 115.
No overtime?
Doesn't say.
Ooh, wow.
They had the 3-point shot in 88.
Yeah.
Did they? Okay.
Mhm.
On this day in 1994, it is announced there is no smoking in the Cleveland then Indians' new ballpark. It's hard to believe you could just light one up sitting there watching a baseball game.
Yeah, that's interesting
Um,
though. Like you say that, I'm like, well, they are outside, but you
I
don't
know.
see anybody lighting it up at
No.
outdoor sporting stadiums or fields. So
I don't think you can anymore.
yeah, people vape though. I've seen that.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, my dad and I would always go to Wrigley, and we'd get seats in right down the left field line, and they had a little, before they renovated, a little like 3-row section, and it was a non-alcohol section, which is just
Interesting.
unheard of in today's world.
Yeah.
There was a section where they did not serve alcohol. You weren't allowed to have alcohol there, so it was perfect for a kid.
Interesting.
Yeah. On this day in 2019, how did I not make a bucket prediction for this one? PGA Players Championship TPC at Sawgrass. Rory McIlroy of Northern Ireland wins his biggest check in golf by
Did
one stroke.
did again today. He
Did
was
he?
in a 3-hole playoff with JJ Spawn. It got storm delayed yesterday, and then they tried to finish it. And JJ had a putt on the 18th hole yesterday to win, and he either has not won or only had one tour win. So, not like Rory.
Right.
And he had a decent length putt, and he left it in the heart like 2 inches short.
Oh,
And then
man.
today he started off, bogeyed the par 5, Rory birdied. Then they got to the island green, and JJ put one in the water and doubled. And Rory bogeyed, and then right there, Rory's up 3 going to the last hole. And
Yeah.
Rory's got all the momentum heading into Augusta here in about a month.
Why didn't we pick this golf?
I don't know. It's the biggest non-major.
I know.
I don't. It was No, you want to hear something said? My boy was in contention after 2 days. After 2 days, it's weekend rounds, 82-79.
Phew, man.
Awful. Just pathetic.
Where
Just pathetic.
where'd he finish up in the standings as far as the
Last,
made
as
the
far as
cut? Really?
last, he went from tied 16th to last. I mean, he opened up double on Saturday and then just snowballed from there. And then, not that it mattered. I was like, okay, yes. I was like, yesterday, I'm like, okay, just shoot someone in the 60s. Not that it's gonna matter. Start off with a quad first hole. I'm like, just walk off the course, dude.
Yeah.
You've lost. That's the problem with Rick lately. He puts 1 or 2 rounds together, not even close to putting 4. I don't know.
That's wild.
I
Yeah.
don't know. He's not gonna be playing at Augusta, so.
No, really.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yep.
Well, tough for him. He
Eh,
what year was it that he was real close to winning Augusta? Wasn't there a year?
2014, he got top 5 in every single major. And then
Yeah,
2015, he won the Players and a few other events. But he's only won twice since then. So,
that's wild.
yep.
Yeah. On this day in 2021, America's Cup in Auckland, Emirates Team New Zealand beats Italian yacht Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli by 46s in race 10 for a 7-3 series victory and retain the cup. Did you get any of that?
I know it's sailing.
I figured it was sailing once I saw yacht was involved.
That's
Other than
all
that,
I know.
I would have probably thought it was soccer or something.
I've heard of the America's Cup. I know it's sailing. That's all I got. That's more foreign to me than cricket.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. That's it. That's all
That's
I got
it.
for you. Yeah.
It's a kind of weak one this
I
week.
know.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm sure the next few weeks won't be. So, and that is the On This Day segment, which is brought to you by, like it is every week of 2025, by Moody Woodcrafts. Moody Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of Texas with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some that are recently completed projects by visiting them at Moody Woodcrafts on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your first sign order. And I promised it last week, and I fell through with it this week because I forgot to load the images of some of Thad's recently completed projects. So I need to make myself a note right now to do that by next week because he's been making some really cool stuff. So
Sir.
get a hold of Thad. Yeah, he makes great work and great wooden signs and more, and it's great for any occasion. So, all right. Well, let's do the blind ranking because it's got to do with college basketball, which we're gonna talk a majority of the pod from here on out about. And I got to pick the 5 here, but we like to talk about pain and misery
Mhm.
a lot on this podcast, and it seems like we can remember the pain and misery more often. So I am going to have you rank 5 different Illinois Illini NCAA tournament losses.
Oh boy. One being the worst, I assume.
Yeah, the one that
That's all I'm
hurts
gonna
you the
do.
worst, or you
All right.
think about the most. And I'm gonna admit, I'm not doing any of 2005
Okay.
because
That's
I
fair.
feel like the national championship could be won easily. So
Right.
not
Yep.
doing that one. Not doing that one. But we're gonna start off with 2007. 12-seeded Illinois lost to number 5-seeded Virginia Tech by a score of 54-52.
5. I don't think about that game ever.
Okay.
I think the only reason I didn't even get to watch it. I remember I was in a hotel and it was before they had them on every single station, so you just had to whatever game was on CBS, that's what you were getting, and they'd tune in. And I think they had a shot at the buzzer to win it, and they missed. The only reason that team got in is because of their brand at that time, kind of like a North Carolina, honestly, from this year. But just 2 years removed from the national title, I think that's the only reason they got in because they probably shouldn't have got in at all.
Yeah, and then I would have been interested to go back and see the analyst. That might have been a nice little 12-5 upset pick just because of the brand name.
I bet Virginia Tech had like their best season in a long time, and I bet they saw Illinois on that, and they're like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Yeah, you don't see high majors at 12 seeds too often.
But no, that team was very forgettable. Warren Carter, I think, was their best player
There's
that
a
year.
name from the past.
Yeah, Sean Pruitt, I think, kind of had a breakout year that year, but
I know this one stun you. It cost you a phone. 2013, number 7 seeded Illinois loses the number 2 seed Miami, Florida, 63-59.
I'm gonna go 2.
Okay.
Yeah, 2. That was rough. incited or it created a rule where they can now look at who the ball is out of bounds on um, under 2 minutes. So that is the reason why it happened. Now at the same time, they were down 3 at the time, so there was no guarantee they ever actually tie it and win it. But they would have got the ball back with about 40 seconds left, down 3. But they said the ball was off of I don't even know. I don't even remember. I remember DJ Richardson airballed the 3. And it was clearly off of Miami, but they called it off of Illinois. Had to start fouling. It was game over then. So I was very mad that one, but I wouldn't say I think about it anymore. I try to put the John Gross Illinois days out of my head as much as possible.
Kind of mixing this all around. I'm not really doing chronological order or anything. So the next one's number 4 seeded Illinois losing number 5 seeded Houston in 2022 by a score of 68-53.
That one I was very hot after that one because I don't know if you remember it, but it was like I think they were down 2 at half, and it was a close game late. Like I think they were down 5 with about 6 minutes left, and RJ Melendez had a dunk, and he flew in there, so he had to hang on the rim to protect himself, and the guy called a tech, and Underwood went off, and it went from like a 5-point game to I think it ended up being a 10-point game after they hit the 2 technical free throws, and then I think they hit a 3, and it was pretty much game over then. So a lot of Illinois fans still talk about that, how they were mad, because it would have been interesting to see how that game plays out. And he shouldn't have called a tech. Like, he didn't even really hang on the rim. He swung a little bit because he would have fallen right on his back. Have I ranked that yet?
Nope.
I'm gonna go 3.
3.
3.
So 2, 3, and 5 are taken. So you got 1 and 4 remaining. I believe I got 3 left, but I can only pick 2. So I'm gonna go with. All right, I'll go with this one. 09, number 5 seed Illinois loses number 12 seeded West Kentucky, 76-72.
4. That stunk. And the Big Ten was so down that year. I think they only got 5 teams in, maybe. And I think Illinois finished 3rd in the league, and they weren't even that good. They got a 5 seed. But Chester Frazier broke his hand in practice, and they probably win if he plays because he was kind of their glue. And I think they lost by 4.
Yep, 76-72.
Yeah. So that stunk because the very next day we were driving down to spring break, and I had to drive through Bowling Green, Kentucky. And there's Western Kentucky stuff everywhere. So that was the most painful part of it.
Yeah. And you saved this one for this was the right call. Number 1, 2021, number 1 seed Illinois lose the number 8 seed Loyola Chicago, 71-58.
I thought that'd be on the list. That's why I saved 1. 1, that sucked.
Been there.
They put so much energy into winning the Big Ten tournament because they felt like they got slighted with the the COVID rule. And they felt like they should have won the Big Ten regular season too because they played every single game. And Michigan got to take 2 weeks off, and so they played significantly less games. Illinois murdered them in Ann Arbor without Ayo Dosunmu. People don't even remember that. Ayo broke his nose, didn't even play, and they beat him by 23. And then they ran into an 8 seed that was Ken Palm top 10. And they liked the storyline of facing Loyola, and they just couldn't get anything going. And it was probably the most frustrated I've ever been watching Illinois basketball because they'd cut it down to 6 or 7, and then Cameron Krutwig would make a really nice play. Either he'd pass it or he'd score on Kofi, and couldn't get anything going. And that was just frustrating because that's the best team top to bottom they've had since, the 05 team. And we'll remember them, but not as much as we would probably even last year's team who won the Big Ten tournament as well and then go to the Elite Eight. So kind of stunk.
That was that strange year with basically no crowd all year. Then the NCAA tournament, you had minimum crowd. So, and the one I was debating to put on ended up not. 06, number 4 seed Illinois lost to number 5 seed Washington 67-64.
I probably would have put that. Let's see. I probably would have put that at 3.
That's still a
Maybe,
good roster. They still had a really good roster.
maybe 2 because that was D. Brown and James Augustine's last game. They're all-time winningest players there.
Was Luther Head
Um,
still on that team or no?
no, he
Which
no,
team?
he
The
was
year
he was a
before.
senior the year before, and he was a first-round pick.
Okay.
So yeah, it was Brown and Augustine, and then they had, I think it was Rich McBride, Pruitt started a lot, Brian Randall as well. So it was an okay team, but yeah, they ran into Brandon Roy and John Brockman and a couple other guys that Washington had that was really good.
Isaiah Thomas, I think
I
was
don't
young.
think he was
Maybe
there
Nate
yet.
Robinson.
No, I think Robinson was
Huh.
before that and Thomas was
Okay,
after.
it was
Like
in
it
the
was
middle
kind
of
of
them.
right in between.
Quincy
Um,
Poindexter, young Poindexter, maybe.
Potentially, I
Ah,
don't.
okay.
I don't remember. All I remember is Brockman and Brandon Roy,
Yeah,
and they had a transfer from Florida whose last name was Appleby. I remember he's a shooter. He had like blonde curly hair.
I kind of remember him vaguely.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, D Brown had a shot at the buzzer to tie it, and he missed a 3.
And another one I almost put on there but didn't was 2003. 9 seed Illinois lose the 8 seed Arkansas 73-63, but 8-9's a toss up. So, I mean,
Yeah, and I was so ready for that team to end, with the Matt Meyer and those guys.
you know,
That I just it didn't hurt me in the slightest that they got beat. They got down like 20, and then they cut it down to like 3, I think, with a couple minutes left, and then kind of. But I was very ready for a lot of those guys to go.
sorry to bring up some painful memories. Hopefully this
No,
year journey's better.
it's honestly therapeutic ranking them like that. So thank you. I'm gonna have to do
You're
that to you
welcome.
sometime.
Oh, I know it's coming eventually. I got some. There's ones on my list that are going to be worse because I can name 2 of them right now that probably
Yeah.
rank well worse than those. But that is the blind ranking segment this week, which is brought to you by, like it is every week in 2025, Performer Print Shoe Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Performer Print Shoe Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs, so you need to look no further. Let them be your one source print and promotional company by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call today at 574 210 3815. Hoops bracket, the field of 68
Mm-hmm.
released yesterday, and I think the biggest shocker as far as who got in and who got left, that was North Carolina in, West Virginia, Indiana out.
Yeah. It's interesting that Carolina gets in, and the one of the heads of the selection committee is North Carolina's athletic director. And you know what he got with North Carolina making the tourney? $110,000 bonus today.
But he didn't have
Um,
anything to do with it, J
he
man.
said he
He
left the
left the
room.
room every time they were discussed.
Talk about corruption. It's one thing if they're really good, obviously, and they're going to be in. Excuse me. And then they said the reason why Indiana didn't make it is because they didn't take care of those quad 1 opportunities. They won 4 quad 1 games. North
Yeah.
Carolina won 1.
1-12.
They went 1-12, and then they said, well, you got to look at the quad 2 as well. They went 8-0 in quad 2. Indiana went undefeated in the quad 2. So it really makes no sense. The NCAA is corrupt, and that's not going to help their case. Now, I will say I think I picked Carolina to go to the round of 32 because I think they win 2 games.
Wow.
But yeah, I think that was the biggest shock, mainly West Virginia not getting in because I think a lot of people had them in like a fairly safe bubble position in the buys, and they said, well, their best player hasn't played recently. Well, he's been out since early December, so he's been out a majority of the year, and
Right.
they're still winning quad 1 games,
Yeah.
and they should have gotten in,
Yeah.
and they didn't in favor of a North Carolina. Other than that, I don't think there are really many surprises as far as who got in and who didn't,
No, Ohio State was the 3rd team.
which was
And then Boise
surprising
State
that they were
4th.
that close,
Yeah.
honestly. Boise was the other one in the top 4 as
Yeah.
well with West Virginia and Indiana.
Yep.
But I think seeding wise was more of a
Yes.
surprise. I was very, very surprised Louisville was an 8.
Yes.
That's a scary 8, and they get to play in Lexington, Kentucky. So at that time, we're all thinking, oh, maybe the ACC is looked at not very fondly by the committee, and then they let North Carolina in. So that makes
Mm,
no sense. Clemson being a 5, I think, is pretty dang low because they were really, really good this year.
I think it shows, even though they let Carolina in, I think it shows they don't think the ACC was good, which it wasn't.
Exactly.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
it
good
wasn't at all.
compared to the
Um,
Big Ten or the SEC.
but I think it's like they felt, man, we can't just have 3 teams
Right, we
in.
got to get
We
that. We
got
got
to
to
get
get
a
four.
4th, or
Yeah,
it's going to
yeah.
look even worse.
And maybe I could have justified it more if UNC beat Duke,
Yo,
in the conference
100%.
tournament, but they didn't. And,
Yeah,
and
and
going back to West Virginia, they can blame the state of Colorado for not making it. Colorado beats them, and then
yeah,
Colorado State wins the Mountain West.
yeah. Colorado was one of the worst teams
Oh,
in
awful.
they were one of the worst high majors, and
Yeah, they were terrible.
West Virginia lost to them in round 1, and
Yeah, in
that is
round one.
what ultimately kept them out because I think they win that game, they're in over
Yeah,
Carolina. I think
I
they're in that
agree.
play-in game.
I agree.
Now we can also look at some of the SEC schools. They let 14 teams in. You have 6 and 12 in the league. Oklahoma get in, and we're fairly safe in as a 10 seed.
Which
Texas
they
as
say is
well,
their non-conference wins there. That's what they were saying with them.
which is fair, but you got to win some games in January and February too,
Sure.
and they won 6 of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they
Bubble week this year.
it stunk, yeah, 1,000. And you got to look at a team like Nebraska who had like it on a silver platter for them, and they lose 6 or 7 in the year against some bad opponents too. They lost to,
Yep.
um, so they can only blame themselves for that one. But yeah, weak bubble. Overall, I thought the number 1 seeds were very justified, especially with Florida played in the SEC tourney. Duke and Auburn were locks, and then Houston has been in the Big 12 for 2 years, and they've won
Yeah.
two titles already. So
Can they get to the Final Four? I know
that's the
they
question.
have, but can they?
Last year seemed like the team, and then their point guard gets hurt in the Duke game, and he doesn't play the rest of the second half, and they lose because it was on a silver platter for them last year too. They played an underachieving okay Duke team, but then they win that one. They would have played NC State, and NC
Mhm.
State doesn't. They don't beat them.
Mm-mm.
And then who knows what happens against Purdue? They would have been fascinating because Houston
Mhm.
plays such tough on-ball defense, but they didn't have a big guy at all. That would have been
Mhm.
a fascinating matchup. But yeah, looking forward to it. And one of my least favorite days of the year is the Monday before the NCAA tournament because there's just nothing on tonight. Not a
Yeah.
single basketball game I think is on at all tonight. So
No.
kind of stinks, but
No. Going back to Indiana, I posed this question to my dad earlier today. He didn't think so. But I wonder if the Mike Woodson situation had anything to do with them being on the wrong side of the bubble.
yeah, I'm sure it maybe played a little bit of a role. Maybe it didn't though. Because I really thought they would have gotten in over in North Carolina, and they ultimately didn't. But it might have been in the back of the committee's minds, and that's subconsciously they didn't put them in because of that fact.
I think it shows the Big Ten tournament meant jack squat for
Yeah.
everybody outside of Indiana and Ohio State.
hmm Yeah, I mean, you saw Michigan limp to the finish line. They lose 3 in a row to end the year, and then they go and
Got
got
killed those 3 games.
killed. Yeah,
And then
all three of them they got
yep.
beat
And then
handily. And
uh-huh.
then they go and win the Big Ten tournament. And we're thinking, oh, maybe they're up to a 4 seed
I thought
now,
they
and
were
they
for sure.
kept them out of 5. So it really only means anything for bubble teams. It seems like anymore. But yeah,
I know they won't do away with them because of the money they generate, but should there be a conversation to get rid of, for at least for the Power Five, get rid of the conference tournaments?
I hope not. I love it.
I don't think they're going to,
I
but
don't
like
either.
if they don't mean anything, I just for seeding purposes, I don't really understand. I mean,
Right.
besides the teams on the bubble, I guess. I
It's
don't know.
mainly for the teams on the bubble.
Yeah.
And regular season championships mean a little more.
Yeah.
But it is always fun to win a Big Ten
It
tournament.
is.
But
It-
yeah, that's an interesting question.
well, and we see players get injured in these. I mean, Cooper
Huh?
Flag went down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Iowa State had a guy go down,
Yeah,
I
he's out for
believe.
the tournament
Yeah,
too. Their
which is
second
huge.
leading scorer.
Which is
Um,
huge.
yeah, it's
So,
massive. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, Fletcher Lawyer went down for Purdue. Thankfully, he's okay. By the time I thought he broke his arm.
I thought he
Uh,
hossed himself.
I did too, but he sprained it. He sounds like no practice, but will play. Thursday.
It
So
was pretty swollen.
it looked nasty. It was
It did.
discolored and swollen. Yeah,
At
I
least it
thought
wasn't his
maybe
shooting elbow, I
you're
guess.
right, but I thought maybe he was playing through it and it was fractured or something, just
Mm,
playing through it on adrenaline. Because
right.
I believe Haas played a little bit longer after he fell, and then after the game, it shocked everybody when it came out he
Yeah.
fractured his elbow.
Huh.
Uh, and that was the hook and hold rule, which still isn't correctly called.
I haven't
Until
even
now.
seen him review one this year.
I've seen him review a lot. It seems like,
Really? I haven't seen a hook and hold once. Maybe
they
I just
review it,
haven't
but
paid
don't call
attention.
it. And man,
Um,
I know we've talked about this before, and this is the time of year the casual basketball fan gets really into it.
it's
So
annoying. Yeah.
everybody's going to get annoyed with how many times they review plays under 2 minutes. I mean, yesterday's Big Ten tournament.
It was
Oh my gosh, went
ridiculous.
to the monitor 4 times.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. In the final minute, they went to the
Is
monitor.
this the most annoying gesture in sports?
I hate it. The moment the ball's out of bounds under 2 minutes, everyone's doing that because it usually they get the calls right too. Is the thing. Usually, I would say 75% of the time they get the call right on
Yes,
the court.
yes. Well,
But
and like for these tournament games, they have another ref right there for review. It's supposed to speed things up, and I didn't
it
see any
hasn't at
speed
all.
at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Mm-mm. But I was surprised that Auburn was the number one overall, one over Duke. That did
Y-
surprise me.
yeah, Auburn won in Duke, didn't they? Or was it the other way around?
I forgot they even played.
Yeah, they played in December. Maybe that
I
had
think
something to do with
Auburn
it.
beat them. I think, but
I do too. Maybe that has something to do with it. I think the strength of conference has something to do with it as well.
good point.
SEC
Good
was a
point.
lot better.
Good point.
But I think Duke's the best team in the
I did
country.
too. I did too.
Fully healthy. I mean, they had a stretch where they won by like it was like 4 straight games. It was like they won by 45, won by 38, 35, 30. Like they had like 4 straight wins of 30 or more, which is unheard of.
Even without
Um,
Cooper the other night, I know Louisville's not the best team in the world, but they're better than the 8 seed they got seated at. They
yeah,
took care of business without him. It
yeah,
looked like they didn't even need him. It's just like that must be
I know.
nice.
And they came back from like 16 down against Georgia Tech without him to beat
Yeah,
Georgia Tech.
I think they were
So,
show shocked when
yeah,
he went down. But take him off the court in the wheelchair and everything. They're probably assuming the worst. But
yeah, he Dwayne Waded himself.
yep, yep. Duke beat Auburn. My dad says.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even remember they played.
I was in
So
Cameron Indoor, I remember.
interesting. I have no recollection of that whatsoever. But outside of Purdue, until the conference tournament this past week, I didn't watch a ton of college basketball outside Purdue, but this week I did.
No, I didn't even watch that many Big Ten games outside of Illinois this year.
Yeah.
I'd have it on, but I wouldn't say I
Sure,
intently
background
watched
noise,
it.
kind of. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the games Thursday were kind of rough. Purdue game was really good. They found a way to win, but every
Mhm.
other game was kind of a shellacking. Friday, all 4 games were terrible.
Mhm.
Double digits more. And then Saturday's games were awesome. Yesterday's game was
Yeah,
good.
they delivered on the weekend for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep,
This Saturday especially was fantastic. But
yep, yep. Well, let's go bracket by bracket or region by
alrighty.
region. Starting up in the left-hand side, I don't have which direction that is on here, but
I have the South up on my left hand side.
okay, that's Auburn, right?
Yep.
All right. So Auburn not getting upset by Alabama State or St. Francis in your bracket, I presume.
No. No.
How about Louisville Creighton?
I have Creighton winning
I,
that one.
I got Louisville. I think they're gonna be mad.
I like it.
So, but I think it's gonna be a great game. I think it's two pretty evenly matched up. Look for Chucky
Hepburn.
Hepburn. I about to call him Hellburn. Hepburn to be the difference maker there.
Yeah, he almost committed to Creighton in the offseason, I remember reading.
Yeah,
So
you're
that's
right.
kind of interesting.
The 5-12s are always easy for upset picks, and
Yeah.
Seth Davis was drooling over UC San Diego having them going to the Sweet 16. I'm not buying it. I'm taking Michigan.
I'm taking Michigan as well. I have a hard time picking any double-digit seed over a single-digit seed. I'm just my bracket's kind of boring this year because I went
Kinda
with
chalky.
a lot of kind of chalky.
So you probably have Buzz Williams and A&M getting through Yale.
I do. Yale had a 13-4 upset last year over Auburn, so maybe
Yes, they
they
did.
can do it again.
Wolf was on Yale's team, and so was a few other guys that transferred.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. Ole Miss or San Diego State / North Carolina. I think you already said.
Yeah, I have North Carolina
Huh?
winning against San Diego State, and I have them beating Ole Miss. I do not believe in Ole Miss for whatever reason.
I got Chris Beard and Ole Miss advancing here. Iowa State and Lipscomb.
I have Iowa State.
I got the Cyclones as well. Marquette, New Mexico. This is an intriguing matchup.
It is. Little Patino there for New Mexico. He's at a really good level for him, and it'll be interesting to see if he gets another high major gig. With that being said, I'm taking Marquette.
I'm taking shock in the Golden Eagles as well. Yeah, you think about Indiana jobs open, Minnesota's open, Iowa's open, Villanova's open, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting coaching carousel for sure. And Michigan State against Bryant.
Give me Michigan State.
I got Michigan State as well.
The last time they were a 2, they lost to Middle Tennessee State.
I believe you're right. That was way back in 2016.
That was a while ago.
So you got Auburn against Creighton. Who you got going to Sweet 16?
Give me Auburn.
I got Auburn over Louisville. Who do you like to face Auburn in the Sweet 16? A&M or Michigan?
Give me A&M.
I got the Aggies as well. Tar Heels or Cyclones? Who you got going to Sweet 16?
Give me Iowa State, even without their second leading scorer.
I got Ole Miss just because of that injury. Marquette or Michigan State? Interesting matchup.
Give me Marquette. I haven't been a believer in this Michigan State team all year, and I'm hoping that loss on Saturday, they kind of lick their wounds a little bit and get beat.
I got the Golden Eagles as well. They got the guards to do it. They got the guards to do some damage.
Cam Jones. Yep.
And they're going to wreak it. They got defense too that can wreak havoc. I think they're a dangerous 7 seed.
They haven't played all that well here recently either,
No, they
so
haven't.
maybe they'll get hot.
Auburn or A&M? Who's going on to Elite Eight?
Give me Auburn.
I got Auburn as well. So you have Iowa State versus Marquette. I have Mississippi versus Marquette. Who you got in Elite Eight?
I'm buying Iowa State. They were a 2 seed last year and lost in the Sweet 16. I think they actually get to the Elite Eight this year. So give me Iowa State.
They definitely got the talent to do so. It's just that injury really, I don't know. It just got me bothered. I'm taking Marquette to go to Elite Eight. So who do you got representing South, Auburn or Iowa State?
Give me Auburn. I think they are a top 2 team in the country, and they get there.
I got Auburn as well over Marquette. So I got Auburn. I got Bruce Pearl getting back to the Final Four yet again. Down in the, what region is this? Not East. What region is Florida in?
West.
Thank you. Duh. Yeah, that's right. Houston's Midwest. That's weird. Okay. Florida or Norfolk State?
Give me Florida.
I got the Gators.
Yeah.
Defending national champion UConn Huskies against Oklahoma.
Man, if I was Florida seeing them, like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I know.
Give me UConn. I think they handle Oklahoma.
I like UConn as well. Memphis or Colorado State?
It'll be interesting because Memphis is very good, not really talked about all that much, but Colorado State's very good as well. However, there are rumors about Nico Medved, their head coach, being the new Minnesota head coach because he's a grad from Minneapolis.
He's a good coach.
He's a very good coach, and so maybe they'll have that on their brains. However, I am taking the upset in this one. Give me Colorado State.
I got the Rams as well, led by Ethan Morton, career high 11 points yesterday, 4 assists. Hey,
Matt Clement is proud.
Yeah, so good for him, still dancing and enjoying college life. So I'm taking the Rams as well. But Penny and Memphis can be dangerous too. Maryland or Grand Canyon?
Give me Maryland.
I like the Terps as well. I don't think Indiana goes this direction, but I've heard some Bryce Drew rumors.
Interesting.
I don't think he's a big enough name. But
I don't know. He did good at Valpo. He did good at Vandy, and they ran him off. And now he's made the tournament 3 of the last 4 years at Grand Canyon. I think he's a pretty good head coach.
Indiana kid.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Terps as well. I don't know if I said that already or not. But Missouri against Drake, another coach. Drake's coach rumored to be in the mix for Indiana's job.
Give me Drake. I ain't picking Missouri. You kidding me?
I knew you weren't. I'm taking the Bulldogs as well. Texas Tech versus UNC Wilmington. I wish I knew more about Wilmington, but I don't.
I wish I knew more about Texas Tech because I was surprised when I saw they were a 3 seed.
I watched them a little bit. I didn't. I mean, they're good. They're good, but I don't know.
Give me Tech, though.
I got the Red Raiders as well. Intriguing matchup here. Bill Self against John Calipari.
Yeah, Kansas, give me Self. Give me Self. Maybe
I'm taking Kansas as well. But, man, if St. John's against Omaha, Omaha's an awesome story. They love to beat up a certain trash can after games.
Yeah.
But I think Patino and St. John's gets past them.
Yeah, I do too. Give me St. John's.
But it's fascinating. Most likely going to have Patino against Self or Patino against Calipari.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
that's popcorn right there. Florida, Yukon.
Give me Florida. I think Florida is they're a 1 seed, but I don't really think people are talking about them that much. Walter Clayton Jr., heck of a basketball player. I think Florida moves on.
Yeah, I think Florida is really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they got through the gauntlet of the SEC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a close one against UConn, though, but Florida
I do too.
prevails.
Yeah.
Colorado State or Maryland?
Give me Maryland.
I got the Terps as well. Drake or Texas Tech?
I have Drake moving on, getting the Sweet 16.
I almost did, but I couldn't pull the trigger because I feel like most of the nation's going to. I took Texas Tech. St. John's or Kansas?
I have Kansas getting to the Sweet 16.
I had them penciled, erased it. St. John's.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise St. John's so red hot. It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me for them to flame out early.
Yeah.
But I'm taking the chance they're not going to. Florida or Maryland?
Florida.
You got the Gators biting through the hard shell of the Terrapins. I do as well. I got the Gators going to Elite Eight. Drake or Kansas?
I have Kansas getting to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I know.
They've stunk all year for them, and then they get to the Elite Eight.
You just know they'll probably get hot.
I got Patino getting to this first Elite Eight in many, many, many years.
Yeah.
So not many, many. I guess he did take a Louisville to the championship in 2013, but you got Florida or Kansas?
I have another 1 seed moving to the Final Four. Give me Florida.
I do as well. I got Florida beating St. John's, so pretty chalky for me so far.
Not as chalky as Jay Williams. Do you see his?
No.
All
ones?
Of his Elite Eight, they were all 1s and 2s.
Oh, Jay.
Yeah.
Duke over American or Mount St. Mary's, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I thought about it, but yeah, give me Duke in that one.
Yeah, I got the Dukies. Mississippi State or Baylor?
Give me Mississippi State.
I got the Bulldogs as well. Oregon or Liberty?
I'm taking Liberty. I think they're a
right.
good basketball team, and I think Liberty wins.
Dana Allman wins in March, as the bogey question told me last week, so I'm taking the Ducks. The Bulldogs are. Oh no, that's later on. Never mind. I went way down on my list. Arizona or the John Gross Akron Zips?
Yeah, good job, Johnny Gross. I mean, back-to-back
time for him to get a
MAC championship. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten another high major look, but maybe he's happy there. I mean, he doesn't have to deal with any of the crap at the high majors that they do now.
True.
But they came back. I think they were down 18 against his half brother, who was the head coach of Miami of Ohio, and Travis Steele. So yeah, it was fascinating to watch, and they ended up winning. But give me Arizona in that one. Too many.
I got Arizona as well. If you like abbreviated names, this is the matchup for you. BYU versus VCU.
BYU, same thing last year. They were 6 seed and they end up losing to 11. Duquesne. I think it happens again this year. Give me VCU.
I got Brigham Young. I like this Brigham Young team a lot, and they're playing out. They're playing out in Denver in the altitude, and they're used to the altitude. Maybe I'm putting too much into that, but Wisconsin or Montana.
Give me Wisconsin.
Yep, I'm taking Wisconsin. They score the ball really well, except they didn't yesterday. Vanderbilt or St. Mary's?
Give me St. Mary's.
I'm taking Vanderbilt.
All right. So that wouldn't surprise me. St. Mary's has a real hard time once the NCAA tournament starts. So
they try to stay away from these conference versus conference second round matches. When you have 14 teams from one conference in, it's kind of impossible.
It's hard, yeah.
Alabama or Robert Morris?
Give me Bama.
I got Alabama as well. They're injured going into the tournament.
They are.
Yeah. So I got them as well. Duke or Mississippi State?
Give me Duke.
I got Duke as well. Liberty or Arizona for you?
I have Arizona.
I got Arizona over Oregon. VCU or Wisconsin?
I have Wisconsin.
I have BYU over Wisconsin.
I like it.
Sweet 16.
I like it.
St. Mary's or Alabama?
I have Alabama.
I got Alabama over Vanderbilt. Duke or Arizona going to Elite Eight?
I was very chalky with this one. 1-4 and 2-3. Give me Duke.
I got Duke over Arizona. Wisconsin or Bama for you?
Give me Bama.
Got Bama. I got BYU over Bama. I got BYU in the Elite Eight.
They do have a stud, Igor Dimon, likely lottery pick.
So a lot of my bracket's chalky, but I have a 6 in the Elite Eight here and a 7 over in the South with Marquette.
Yeah.
Duke or Bama?
Give me Duke.
I got Duke over BYU. So we agree so far on the Final Four. 3 for 3. All right, and then the bracket or the region that's got our attention, the Midwest. Houston or SIU Edwardsville, who's a pain in the rear, as you've
They
noted.
are. Illinois and Indiana both played them back in November, and like they just kind of hung around. It was never in doubt, but like they would have it within like a 10 or a 15 point game. Illinois just couldn't bury them, and they finally did the final couple minutes. But yeah, they're tough. But give me Houston.
I remember the first time I ever heard of SIU Edwardsville. Purdue played them in the 09-10 season when we were seniors in high school. I'm like, who's this school? Now they're
I think they were brand new to Division One at
yeah,
that point because this is
yeah,
their first time
yep,
ever. Megan.
yep. I got Houston pretty easily. This is what I was trying to say earlier. Bulldogs are going to win this matchup. Gonzaga against Georgia.
Give me Gonzaga. Scary 8 seed.
And they're starting to play good ball again.
Yes, they are.
I got Gonzaga as well. Clemson or McNeese State?
Both of these matchups, the 5-12 and the 4-13, have been popular upset picks so far. But I'm not taking an upset in either of them. Give me Clemson.
I got Clemson as well. I mean, I wanted Purdue to stay away from McNeese. At least they didn't get him in the first round.
Yeah.
But they could potentially see him in the second round if both teams win. Will Wade's teams are scary.
They are.
They're very, very athletic, very arrogant. And you remember last year, a lot of people were picking McNeese not only to win one game, but to win two, if not three.
Yeah,
and they got
whooped.
killed.
Yeah,
I don't even remember who beat them, but
Oh,
somebody whooped them. But I'm taking Clemson as well. Then Purdue against High Point. Alan Huss, the old former Tulsa Military Academy coach.
Give me Purdue in that one.
I'm taking Purdue. Scared to death. Purdue's not playing well, or not. Not playing well, no, but they did play well against Rutgers and UCLA just 2 weeks ago. But I thought they played pretty good against Illinois. Just they did not look good against Michigan the other night,
or USC really,
or USC. They couldn't shoot the ball well. Maybe they're due. A lot of people are like maybe they'll get hot like the 2019 team did. Well, that team had Carson Edwards, who's a walking flamethrower,
right?
And that team was so good defensively. People forget. I mean, Matt Harms, No Gel Eastern. Travion Williams was decent defense. He was young though that year, but they had some defensive pieces that this team doesn't have. But I think Purdue gets it done. I did read two stats. Purdue's one of 4 teams to make 10 straight NCAA tournaments, and they've been a 4 seed or better 8 straight tournament appearances, which is pretty crazy. So I will take Purdue.
They need a 4th guy to score.
Yeah.
It's been an issue all year. And when they were playing really good in like January and into February, they had like other guys step up. And it's kind of reared its ugly head a little bit.
Miles Colvin and Cam Heide showed some flashes here and there in the Big Ten tournament, but somebody's got to be consistent. And honestly, the guy who I think is playing really good, but he's just not getting a ton of minutes, Jakari Harris.
I think he's playing really well.
He tried to kind of spark him the other night. It just wasn't enough. So I think he's going to end up being a really good player eventually. He's got good genes.
Yes, he does.
Illinois or Texas Xavier?
I think I'm going to take Xavier in the first matchup. But then I'm going to take Illinois. This team could lose in the first round, or they could get to the Elite Eight. I truly think that.
If they can get to the Elite Eight, they can get to the Final Four.
And I think they can get to the Final Four. I think, honestly, this is the easiest bracket out of the 4 of them.
I think Illinois and Purdue got decent draws.
I do, too. I feel pretty good about it, which is usually why they'll probably lose on Friday night. Because honestly, I think the 3 seed Kentucky, I think is very beatable. They're similar to Iowa in the fact they don't rebound and they don't defend, which Illinois has feasted on teams like that. They have really struggled with teams that are more physical and bigger than them. Maryland. I'm taking Illinois in that one.
I'm taking Illinois as well. Kentucky or Troy. I didn't even know Troy made the tournament.
Yep. Give me Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm taking Kentucky as well. UCLA or Utah State?
Give me UCLA. Poor performance by them in the Big Ten tourney, but I think they bounce back.
I got the Bruins as well. Tennessee or Wofford?
Tennessee.
I'm taking Tennessee as well. It's very unlikely to happen, but it's funny. It's possible Purdue could see Gonzaga and Tennessee again.
Yeah, I know. Right when I saw Purdue was in this one and Tennessee hadn't been picked yet, it's going to have it. Yeah. At least it'd be the Elite Eight.
Well, yeah, in Indianapolis too. Sign me up if that happens. But Lucas Oil instead of Gamebridge. That's kind of I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Don't think I'm going to have to worry about that. Houston or Gonzaga?
Give me Zags.
Ooh.
Yep. I think they're hot. They are hot.
I'll take Houston, but I think it's close.
Yeah.
I think it's close. Clemson or Purdue?
Sorry, T-Dog. I'm taking Clemson in this one.
I got Clemson. I mean, I think I'm with you there with like Illinois. I think Purdue can make a run, but they can
Mhm.
easily get bounced in the first round. I just don't know what Purdue team's going to show up.
Right. If they were playing better heading into the tourney, I would have had them further. But
Well,
Clemson's playing pretty well too.
if Trey Kaufman gets in foul trouble like this every game lately, they're in trouble.
Right.
And if they're not hitting open shots, they're in trouble. They're
Yeah.
bad defensively. It's not going to get better. But they had look after look after look against Michigan, just couldn't hit
They did.
anything.
Yeah.
Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer combined 4 for 25. You're not going to win many games. I
No,
mean,
not
just
too many.
no.
Where's that game at? Providence? Is that where it's
Yeah,
at?
Providence,
Okay.
Rhode Island, which a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't believe." I'm like, I don't care. Purdue as a 4 seed, I didn't think it was going to get the Midwest. So the
Yeah.
fact if they can get past those first two somehow and get Indianapolis, then it's just gravy.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
we got to win games. Illinois or Kentucky?
I went homer here. I took Illinois. It's in Milwaukee. It'll be a home game as well. There'll be a lot of Kentucky fans there should this matchup happen. But yeah, give me Illinois. I went homer.
Sorry, Jay, man. I went Kentucky.
I don't blame you.
But I'm not a believer in this Kentucky team. So, UCLA or Tennessee?
Tennessee.
I went Tennessee. So, looking at my bracket, I had one Big Ten team make Sweet 16. That was Maryland.
Yeah. I had Illinois and Maryland. That was it. So I had two, and Wisconsin as well. So
Yeah, I didn't have them. I guess I give no respect to the Big Ten at all.
No.
You got Gonzaga or Clemson?
Give me Gonzaga. I think they get to the Elite Eight. This team's hot. They're top. I think they're top 12 on KenPom now. So yeah, scary 8.
I thought you were going back-to-back Elite Eight appearances for Clemson. So
no.
I'm taking Houston over Clemson, and then Illinois or Tennessee.
Give me Tennessee. Illinois already lost to them once.
I got Tennessee over Kentucky. Tennessee or Gonzaga?
I think Tennessee makes their first Final Four ever, and they get there.
We got the same Final Four. I got Tennessee over Houston.
That's great. That's great.
So, I got a feeling we got the same championship, but I could be wrong.
Well,
who do you got in the championship?
I have Auburn playing Duke.
I got Florida playing Duke.
Okay,
all right,
good.
We finally disagree.
Right, good.
National champ?
Duke.
I got Duke 76-63.
Yep. I have them. I think the game will be played around 170 combined points, so 86-84.
Man, we agreed a lot.
I know.
Oh well. I do. I don't like Duke. I really think they're the best team.
Yeah. I have not done a book it yet, so this will be the J-Man's book it prediction of the week. I think at least 25% of the Big Ten teams that made the NCAA tournament will get to the Sweet 16, which would be 2, right? 8 teams made it, right?
Yes, that's what you predicted too.
Yeah,
I predicted 1.
So. I think in my bold prediction I had 10 teams in, but yeah, my predictions right now I think I had 3 teams in the Sweet 16. So, yeah. J-Man's Book It Prediction of the Week brought to you by Travis Watering Insurance Agency for life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis 219-869-4561.
I know Travis and his brother are doing their annual March Madness bracket challenge. If you want to get into his, get a hold of him as well.
Yeah.
So, real quick before we wrap things up, NFL free agency over a week old now. A lot of moves, but some big names guys still haven't found their landing spot yet. What were some of your big takeaways from week 1? Who were some of the teams you thought won? Some interesting spots for guys that landed there.
Yeah, I'm trying to recap in my brain. Right? A lot has happened here the past week. I think New England did very well. They had a ton of cap space. I think Carolina did well because they had a ton of cap space. A lot of the moves, we talked about them last week because they kind of already had happened, like the big ones, but we still have like Rodgers is still out there, and
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's still out there. Justin Fields signed with the Jets. I don't know if that happened before last Monday.
I think we talked about that.
I think we did too.
And Darnold to the Seahawks.
And DK Metcalf traded to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I remember that one.
Yep.
T. Higgins and Jamar Chase got paid, so they're going to have to score 50 points a game because they're not going to
defensive money.
Stop a nosebleed next.
No defensive money. I mean, they had to do it, but man.
Yeah. But, other than that, I haven't. Has there really been any massive deals that I can't really think of any?
A massive name, but Cooper Kupp to the Seahawks.
Right, he was released. Yeah, went to Seahawks.
It sounded like he was really interested at one point in negotiations in Denver, but his price, Denver's like, we like you, but not for that price.
How much was it? Like 15? Or no, it was a couple-year deal, wasn't it?
It was 3-year, 45, and I don't think Denver wanted to come close to that, which they don't really have the cap space to do something like that.
He hasn't been healthy either.
But man, when he is, he's
He's
awesome.
good, but he's also on the wrong side of 30 at this point, I think.
Yeah, and
So,
he wanted to go back home, I think, up
um,
in Washington.
which makes sense. Yeah,
So,
Eastern Washington
and
grad,
he gets
right?
to play. Yep, and he gets to play against the Rams twice a year. That
Yeah,
division's interesting. There's been a lot of unloading
yeah. The Niners kind of got gutted via free agency. The Broncos signed a couple guys, their safety
too.
and
Yep,
Greenlaw.
Greenlaw. Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see. It could be a transitional sort of year there in San Fran because I could see, should they make the playoff or miss the playoffs this year, that Shanahan gets a change of scenery sort of deal and leaves, or they fire him. Who knows?
Mm. I like what the Broncos have done. They also got Evan Ingram, formerly of the
That's right.
Jaguars. They needed a tight end or a joker that Sean Payton was looking for his offense. All three of these deals are guys who haven't been healthy, so they got them cheaper than you
Uh huh.
normally probably would. But it's risk reward. I mean, the
Right.
reward is high on these three guys if they can stay healthy. But if they can't, then ouch. But
Yeah.
so I'm cool with now. I just hope they get a running back. Like I think they need to get a veteran and then somebody in the draft. But
What
because
veteran running backs are out there?
um, Hunt still, or no, Chubb's still out there. Um,
He had a gruesome
uh,
knee injury just a year and
yeah.
a half ago, though.
I mean, they don't need a guy to carry it all the time. They still have Jalen McLaughlin, Audric Estime. Those are young guys, but I think they're going to draft one too because the draft's loaded
Yeah,
with
it's a
running
good running
backs.
back draft.
Um, I don't know though. There's not a ton of great names out there. Like some guys I thought they might kick the tires on, they didn't, or maybe they did, and they just re-signed with their team or signed somewhere else. Like Najee Harris went to the Chargers, which I didn't want
He
him anyways.
stinks.
I didn't want him
He's
anyway.
terrible. Everyone's like, he has over 1,000 yards in each of his first 4 seasons. I think his career yards per carry is like 3.9 or something. It's just
Yeah,
because he has a ton of carries.
yeah.
But
So no, it's been interesting. Daniel Jones signed with Colts. We didn't talk about that
anytime.
last week.
Most inaccurate quarterback room in the history of the NFL, in my opinion. In fact, their quarterback room has the bottom two guys in passer rating last season.
Ooh,
That's
that
rough.
can't get people in Indy too excited.
That is rough. Yeah.
Yeah. Dolphins do much. Besides, I know they got Zach Wilson, but
They signed offensive lineman who, again, he blew out his Achilles in week 4. So that's a classic Greer deal to sign him and hope he's healthy, and he probably won't
mhm,
be. They redid their safeties. Javon Holland signed with the Giants, which I was very happy with because he had a terrible year. So they signed Ashton Davis from the Jets and then a guy from the Lions. I can't pronounce his name for safety. They don't have much cap space either, so they haven't really
right.
done a whole lot. And they'll do a majority of their work through the draft because they have 10 draft picks this year.
Yeah, that helps. That
Yep,
helps.
got a hit
So,
though.
Bears have had a good free agency. I think
Yeah,
they're building
on
up
paper
the
they
team in
have.
the
Yeah.
trenches big time. There's no excuse for Caleb Williams this year.
Zero excuse. And I think Ben Johnson was the right hire, and we
Mhm.
will see if that if it works out.
Yeah, they'll be hyped up again. They were last year, and I took the bait. I had them in the playoffs.
I
But
did not. Did I? I might have.
I don't know.
I don't think I bought them as Super Bowl
No.
contenders like Rich Eisen did, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct. Hit me with that birdie or bogey game,
All right.
J-Man.
4 teams in college basketball have won 20 or more games in each of the past 6 seasons. Who are those 4 teams?
So that starts in the 2019 season.
Hmm.
So that's not Purdue because the bubble team was not good, or the bubble year team was not good. I'm going Gonzaga,
Yep.
Kansas. No. Yes.
No.
Illinois.
Illinois.
Gonzaga, Illinois. Crap.
One more for a par.
God, I know that he's got such 27 straight tournaments. I'm Michigan State.
Nope.
Son of a. Just hit me with it.
Houston and San Diego State.
I would never got that.
Yeah.
Never got that. I should have thought Houston. No, got San Diego State.
I was surprised that Kansas, but I think that Kansas team in the COVID year was not that great.
Okay. Still made the tournament though.
Still made the tourney, but I want to say they weren't that great.
Okay.
But,
Son of a gun. Oh,
yeah, another rough
oh,
one.
it's just awful. It's Ricky Fowler over the weekend. Oh my god.
Yep. So, all right. Thanks for watching the Tan and J Man show. We'll be back at her next Monday with another episode.